The restaurant glowed like a dream Elena wished she could wake up from. String lights crisscrossed the private dining room of a Beverly Hills Italian place, 75 Reyes family members filling every table with laughter and catching up. Elena stood near the entrance in a blue dress that felt like armor, makeup carefully applied to hide the sleepless shadows under her eyes. Leo arrived in a navy suit, holding a bouquet of white roses. "For your abuela," he said nervously. "First impressions matter." Elena wanted to scream, wanted to grab his hand and run. Instead, she smiled and led him inside. Leo was perfect. Of course he was. He helped Abuela with her chair, his Spanish rusty but earnest. He complimented Tia Carmen's empanadas, listened intently to Cousin Miguel's boring real estate stories, laughed at Uncle Roberto's terrible jokes. Across the room, Maya watched like a predator. Every smile Leo earned, every warm touch from a family member, every moment he charmed someone, it was a knife twisting in her ego. When Abuela squeezed Leo's hand and said, "You're good for our Elena," Maya's jaw clenched so hard Elena could see it from across the room. Dinner was served, wine flowed, then the toasts began. Uncle Roberto raised his glass to his daughter's medical school acceptance. Aunt Carmen celebrated her son's engagement. The microphone moved around the table, each family member taking turns sharing joy. Elena's heart pounded so hard she could barely hear the words being spoken. Maya would grab it soon. The ambush was coming. Then Maya stood, intercepting the microphone before it could reach the next person. "I have something to share," she said, voice sugary sweet. "I want to toast my cousin Elena, who just moved back from Spain." Elena's blood turned to ice. "Elena has always been the bold one in our family. She goes after what she wants, no matter the cost. In fact, she wanted something so badly that she—" "Maya, don't!" Elena stood, her voice cutting through the room. 75 faces turned. Silence fell like a guillotine. Leo looked between them, confused. "What's going on?" Maya's smile was poison. "Don't what? I'm just going to tell everyone how I fell in love with a man you lied about." Gasps rippled through the room. Maya's face drained of color. Elena's voice grew stronger, clearer. "You told me Leo was abusive, that he was a liar and a manipulator. You asked me to seduce him and break his heart as revenge, and I said yes, because I trusted you, because you're family." "What?" Leo stood slowly, face pale. Elena turned to him, tears streaming. "I'm so sorry. She told me you'd abused her, and I believed her. I agreed to make you fall for me just to hurt you. But then I got to know you, and nothing she said was true. She lied about all of it." The room erupted. Abuela shouted in rapid Spanish. Elena's mother covered her face, mortified. Cousins whispered frantically. Maya's hand shook as she pointed at Elena. "You weren't supposed to. You promised." "I promised to help you get justice," Elena said, voice breaking. "But there's no justice to get. You just couldn't handle him moving on." "Everyone, please." Leo's quiet voice somehow cut through the chaos. The room fell silent. He looked at Maya first. "I'm sorry our relationship ended badly. I'm sorry I hurt you. But what you did, lying to your family, manipulating Elena, trying to destroy me, that's not okay." Then he turned to Elena, and the devastation in his eyes broke her completely. "Did any of it mean anything? Any of what we had?" "All of it," Elena sobbed. "Everything after the first week. Leo, I fell in love with you for real. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I need time." Leo set his napkin on the table with careful precision, like he was holding himself together by focusing on small, controlled movements. Then he walked out. Elena ran after him, heels clicking on marble, leaving behind chaos, Abuela's shouting, her mother's tears, Maya's furious denials, 75 family members watching their family fracture in real time. The gala was in ruins, and so was everything else. Elena caught him in the parking lot, fluorescent lights casting everything in harsh, clinical white. "Leo, please." He turned, and the look on his face stopped her cold. Not anger. Something worse. Emptiness. You let me fall in love with you, knowing it was a setup. His voice was flat, hollow. Do you know how that feels? His hands shook as he spoke, the only crack in his careful control, physical proof of how deeply she'd broken him. I know, I'm sorry it doesn't fix this. No, it doesn't. Leo leaned against his car like he needed the support. What Maya and I had was toxic on both sides. I wasn't perfect. I was distant, I prioritized work, I shut down during arguments. He looked up at the sky, jaw tight. But I never lied to her. I never manipulated her, and I sure as hell never orchestrated some revenge plot when things ended. I know that now, Elena said desperately. I know everything she said was either a lie or a distortion. I should have questioned it sooner. You should have questioned it at all. Leo's voice cracked. I was falling in love with you. Real, actual love. The kind where I started imagining a future, introducing you to my extended family, planning trips to Barcelona, wondering if maybe you were the person I'd been waiting for. Elena thought of the jewelry store receipt she'd seen in his car last week, the one he'd quickly hidden. He'd been further along than she knew. And all of it was performance. Leo finished, the words like a death sentence. Not all of it, Elena said, tears streaming. The museum, the jazz club, the night we stayed up until 4 a.m. talking about our biggest fears. That was real. My feelings are real, Leo. I fell in love with you despite trying not to. Despite trying not to, Leo repeated hollowly. That's the part that kills me. You had to try not to love me because the plan was to destroy me. The silence was deafening. From inside the restaurant, muffled shouting continued, the sound of a family tearing itself apart. For what it's worth, Elena said, voice breaking, I ended it in there. I exposed the plan, burned my bridge with Maya, humiliated myself in front of my entire family, because the alternative was humiliating you, and I couldn't do it, even if it cost me everything. That doesn't earn you points, Leo said sharply. You shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. You're right. Leo opened his car door, got in. Through the window, he looked at her one last time. I need time to process this. All of it. Don't contact me. Elena nodded, unable to speak. She watched him drive away, watched his brake lights flare red at the parking lot exit. The lights hesitated. He almost stopped, almost turned around, almost came back. But he didn't. Elena stood alone in the parking lot, the restaurant's warm glow behind her, nothing but darkness ahead. Her phone buzzed incessantly, 47 missed calls, 89 text messages, all of them family members demanding explanations, choosing sides, expressing shock and disappointment. She silenced it all. A valet approached. Miss? Are you okay? Elena laughed, bitter, broken. No, I'm not. The sealed letter sat back at her apartment, the confession she'd written but never delivered, her one chance to control the narrative, now meaningless. She didn't call an Uber, didn't want to sit in a stranger's car explaining why she was crying. Instead, she walked, 3 miles through Beverly Hills in heels and a blue dress, makeup running in black streaks, physical pain a welcome distraction from emotional devastation. She arrived at Maya's guest house at 2 a.m. All her belongings were scattered across the lawn, clothes in the grass, books in the driveway, her laptop case sitting in a puddle. A note was taped to the door. Family traitor, don't come back. Elena sat down among her scattered life and laughed until she cried, until the laughter and sobbing became indistinguishable. She'd lost everything. Leo, who she genuinely loved. Maya, who she thought was family. The respect of 75 relatives who'd watched her confession. Her own integrity sold for a promise she should never have made. And it was all her fault. Every choice,
every lie, every moment she could have told the truth, but chose comfort over courage. A neighbor's light flicked on. Elena started gathering her things, shoving them into garbage bags Maya had thoughtfully left on the porch. By 4 a.m., everything she owned was in the trunk of an Uber, heading to a cheap motel off the 101. By dawn, she was alone in a room that smelled like bleach and regret. And for the first time in months, there was no one left to lie to. Not even herself.
3 months felt like 3 years. Elena's new apartment in Koreatown was sparse and impersonal. IKEA furniture, white walls, nothing that spoke of who she was. She threw herself into work at a major marketing firm, arriving first, leaving last, volunteering for every project that would keep her mind occupied. Her desk had no photos, no personal items. She deleted herself. The family had fractured like glass. Some sided with Maya. Elena betrayed family loyalty. Others sided with Elena. Maya's manipulation was sick. Most just wanted peace, avoiding both of them at gatherings. Abuela wouldn't speak to either granddaughter. Her silence was louder than any words. Maya had doubled down initially, insisting to anyone who'd listen, "I was protecting Elena from a dangerous man." But with each retelling, fewer people believed her. Her social media went dark. The narcissist's worst nightmare was being seen clearly. Elena didn't date, didn't want to. The guilt sat in her chest like a stone, constant and heavy. She kept a box under her bed, ticket stub from the jazz club, a photo from the Getty Museum, a napkin Leo had drawn a terrible sketch of her on. She couldn't throw them away, couldn't look at them either. She saw Leo everywhere, at coffee shops, in crowds, on hospital billboards, always false alarms, until one Thursday afternoon when it actually was him, across the street from her office, laughing with a colleague, looking lighter than she'd ever seen him. Good, she thought, tears pricking her eyes. He deserves happiness. She turned and walked the other direction before he could see her. The text came on a random Thursday evening. Unknown number. "Can we talk?" Leo. She stared at the screen for 5 minutes, heart hammering. "When?" "Tomorrow, same coffee shop, 2 p.m.? I'll be there." Elena didn't sleep. She tried on 6 outfits, settling on a simple black dress. She practiced what to say in the bathroom mirror, but everything sounded hollow or selfish. She arrived 30 minutes early, ordered a cortado, Leo's usual, then felt presumptuous and changed it to tea. The barista smiled sadly. "Haven't seen you in a while. Where's your boyfriend?" The words were a knife. "We broke up." "I'm sorry. You two seemed really happy." Elena nodded, unable to speak. Leo walked in at exactly 2 p.m. He looked tired but good. Shorter hair, new beard. He ordered his cortado, then sat across from her. 3 months of silence compressed into this single moment. "I've been in therapy," Leo said finally, "processing everything. My relationship with Maya, what happened with you, my patterns." He stirred his coffee slowly. "My therapist asked me what I wanted from this conversation. Closure, answers, an apology. And I realized I wanted to understand why." He looked up. "Why you agreed to Maya's plan in the first place." Elena took a breath. Everything depended on this moment. Elena met his eyes and told the truth. "Because she's my cousin and I loved her, and when someone you love tells you they've been abused, you want to believe them. No excuses, just truth. I didn't think critically, I just reacted, and by the time I realized she'd lied, I was in too deep." Leo listened, face unreadable. "You could have told me the truth at any point." "I could have. I should have. I was a coward." Elena pulled out a sealed envelope and slid it across the table. "I wrote this the night before the gala. I couldn't bring myself to give it to you." Leo picked it up, but didn't open it, just held it. "There's no excuse, Leo. I let loyalty to Maya override my integrity. I prioritized avoiding conflict over doing the right thing, and you got hurt because of my weakness. I appreciate you owning that. Leo was quiet. The person I fell in love with, was she real or was she a performance? Elena's eyes filled with tears. She was real. The person who listened to you talk about saving kids, who laughed at your terrible jokes, who felt safe with you. That was me. The premise was fake, but the feelings weren't. How do I trust that? I don't know if you can, Elena admitted. I broke something between us. Maybe it can't be repaired. Heavy silence settled over them. Finally, Leo spoke. I'm not ready to date you. Maybe I won't ever be. Elena nodded, tears falling. But I think I can work toward forgiving you. Not for you, for me. Because holding on to this anger is exhausting. His hand moved across the table, stopping halfway. The gesture he wanted to make, but couldn't yet. You don't owe me forgiveness, Elena whispered. I know. That's why I want to give it. He stood, left the sealed letter on the table. Take care of yourself, Elena. Then he walked out. 6 months later, the Children's Hospital charity fundraiser was elegant. Champagne, donors, string lights. Elena was working on the hospital's rebranding campaign. She saw him across the gallery, talking passionately about expanding the pediatric oncology wing. Their eyes met. He nodded. She nodded back. Later, they found themselves at the same bar station. You look good, Leo said. So do you. Congratulations on the funding expansion. Thanks. How's work? Good. I'm actually working on the hospital's rebranding campaign. I know. I approved the contract. They smiled at each other, something lighter passing between them. I've done a lot of work this year, Leo said. I've realized what you did was terrible, but it came from misguided loyalty, not malice. You stopped before executing it. That matters. He paused. I've forgiven you, really forgiven you, and I'd like to try being friends, real friends. I'd like that, Elena said softly. They exchanged numbers and promised to text. It wasn't a romantic reunion, but it was something more valuable, genuine connection built on honesty. As Elena left, she passed Maya in the parking lot. Brief eye contact. Waited. Maya looked away first. Her phone buzzed. Coffee next week? Just as friends, promise. Elena smiled through tears. I'd like that. Just as friends. She drove home knowing honesty was the only foundation worth building on. Some bridges burn, some slowly rebuild, and sometimes that's enough.